All right, Roman Scorpion here. We're just going to go ahead and change the spark plugs on the GS. Not sure when they were done last. Previous owner said that it was in the fall, but not really sure, Pop. So we're just going to go ahead and change them out. Went ahead and got the plugs from the dealer just to make sure we had the right ones, because I couldn't find the ones that they were saying online. In the manual, it calls for a specific plug, and nobody seems to have those other than the dealer. You can't find them on any of the other websites or anything like that. And with this, all you have to do is loosen up the one lower crash bar mount up at the top by the radiator on the inside. Take out the upper to the lower harness, unclip your wire from the harness here, from the retainer, and then take out the two lower bolts, and this should swing out of the way. There's no reason to take off that secondary plate, and that should get us where we want to get it to go ahead and get this apart. We are videoing this in the fall, early fall, but it's still not bad here in West Austin. There we go. And that swings out of the way perfectly. Give us some space to go ahead and take out that retainer. Take the coil pack cover off. I'll wiggle it out of the way. Move that. Got one of these spark plug coil pack removal tools. You don't need it. You can do it with needle nose or whatever, but I find it best to go ahead and get the right thing to start with. And we'll just kind of give it a wiggle, a slight pull it right out of the way. You don't need to unplug the harness. You can if it pops off easy enough. If not, I will generally just leave it all together. It's just one less chance of having an issue with something later on. Just put that up and out of the way. Go ahead and grab the shallow wall spark plug socket. It's a 14 millimeter. And zip that out. I know they're iridium plugs, at least they're supposed to be, and all of that. And an automobile, these iridiums, they'll last, up to like 100,000 or more. But as you can see, they're a long reach plug. This one actually doesn't look bad. Looks pretty decent actually. But as I'm already here and already have the right plugs, might as well go ahead and just change them out now, and that's just one less thing that I have to worry about. I'll keep those ones that I'm removing for use later on. I do like using the gold high temp anti-seize on the threads. Just steel to aluminum. It's never a bad idea to put just a little bit on. Don't get crazy, but just enough where it puts a little coat right near the end of the plug. I'm not a big fan of covering the whole threads because it's going to kind of work its way down the plug as we start rolling it in. I've already double checked the gap on these plugs prior to doing this job. It's supposed to be exactly at 1 millimeter. No more. I'll look at those other plugs afterwards. Bring it. And that's it. Reverse the process. Double check this. There's still dielectric grease in the boot, so don't have to play with that. Put that in there. Get that in. Give it a good push. Make sure we got a good there it is. There's the click. Make sure we get the harness popped back into where it goes in that little fork. Kind of reverse the process. Work that underneath the plastic. We're set there. Make sure we put our small retaining screw back in. We don't need to kill these. I believe with the factory skid plate, you don't need to take the skid plate down. However, I have an aftermarket plate on this thing, and gives me a little bit more coverage. So we're all set with that now. Now I'll go ahead and swing this up. Make sure we're clear of everything down there. Nothing's binding or any of that. These lower ones are T50s, so I like to just kind of run them in just so they're snug at first, and then kind of get down in there and torque them afterward. That's there. The other two are T40s. So that guy right here goes up in here. Get that in there. Kind of takes a little bit of manipulation to get it sorted. The bars kind of have a little bit of a flex to them. So go ahead and get that run in there at least a couple full turns so that we know we're not misaligned with anything there. I usually wait to tighten that one until I have the internal one tightened up, and I'll tighten the bottoms, and then I'll tighten that top one. That goes to the upper crash bar. So this guy right here, you kind of snake in through here to that top mount. Snug it just a little bit for right now. I'll snug these lower ones, the T50s. I'll get these snugged up a little bit, then I'll put the torque wrench to them and make sure they're where they should be. All right, those are there. Just break out the torque wrench real quick. Over here, they got these at 42. That's that puts me right there. So go ahead and tighten that up. There. All right. And there's dropped down a bit. All right. All right, he's good. All right, that is a simple spark plug change. It's basically the same on pretty much every one of the boxers. You know, I mean, you're looking at roughly a half hour. You can get both sides done, everything buttoned back up, oil pan put back on. I'm not going to go ahead and show you the oil change. There's 100 videos online about changing the oil on these. Really no sense in that. A lot of people go crazy. They'll take this center cover off. I don't see a reason to. That is just simple enough. It's, you know, 3 bolts out, 1 loosened, you're good. You tuck your wire back up into the small clip that's up in here, and just give it a squeeze. Boom, it's locked back together, and that's it. Now you're all set. You haven't had to disturb any of your lighting, haven't had to disturb any of this plate right here and mess around with potentially snapping these small screws off that definitely need a little bit of attention because they're starting to rust in the center. But that shows you how often I have to take these off. I just don't. You know, hopefully going into the winter, I should be able to get through the winter, not have to play around with any of the spark plugs or any of that stuff. Just simply do oil changes and kind of go from there. I've gone ahead, as you've seen in previous videos, did the flapper eliminator, installed that, removed the servo motor, removed the cabling and all that, got that all out of the way, so I don't have to play with any of that. Haven't had to mess with a whole lot else other than, you know, replaced brake pads, changed the battery, replaced it with the lithium ion, just so I didn't have to mess with that again for quite a while. It does take a different charger, maintaining charger, regular maintenance charger, than a standard one, so just kind of keep that in mind if you are going to change. I've used several different kinds of batteries over the years, you know, Ushuaia and all of those, but, you know, lithium ion is definitely, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the way to go. They hold a better charge, a longer charge. They seem to last longer in my experience. I've kind of run about everything you can possibly run now. I had changed the battery on the Yamaha Super Tenere about 3 months ago. And the Harley, that thing has been a nightmare. If for some reason that thing just loves batteries, you buy the factory Harley battery from the dealer, it costs you twice as much as it does from any place else. But you know, at least it's factory. It's going to cost you a couple $100 and you're all set, at least for a season. I have yet to have a factory Harley battery last me more than a season. For some reason, they just continuously die. Even though the, you know, the regulator and all that stuff shows that it's charging, there's no issues as far as that goes. But for some unknown reason, they just keep eating batteries. So whether it's, you know, street glide, road glide, a 2015, or it was a mine, you know, 1978, it doesn't matter. They all kind of do the same thing. For some reason, they just, you know, the voltage rectifier and everything's working fine, stator's fine. For whatever reason, I don't know, they just kind of keep going. So I've experienced it a lot of friends have experienced it. I took care of this one before it was an issue. It really wasn't causing me any problems, but I really like that the lithium ion one. It just seems to be a lot more reliable. So But yep, that's going to end this one. We got that sorted. I'm not going to show you putting the skid plate back up. There's really no benefit to that. There's plenty of videos for that online. But other than that, basically it's myself and my son. We're doing all this stuff ourselves, just kind of something to do together. And, hopefully you guys got something out of this. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much and ride safe.